Welcome into CU Sports Mag. I'm Jake Shapiro.
You mean welcome into Buff Sports Live. I'm Vinay Simla.
Yeah, Vinay, I was just pointing out that it's the old guard and the new guard today hosting the show.
Yet I'm taller and I can grow facial hair.
Sports. This week we have a show for you. My director said in my ear to call it a great show, but you can be the judge of that.
We have a new Hall of Famer on campus, updates on basketball, and our Olympians. But we'll start with Ceal Berry, the Associate Athletic Director here at CU. That's not why she's famous. Here's me telling you more about her. As you heard last week on our show, former Colorado basketball coach Ceal Berry is part of the 2018 Women's Basketball Hall of Fame class. Some of her accomplishments here at CU: 4 Big 8 championships, 1 Big 12 championship, 4 Big 8 Coach of the Year awards, and what she's probably the most proud of: the women's basketball team sold out the Coors Event Center 5 times under Ceal Berry before the men's team did it even once. I had a chance to catch up with Coach Berry, and she told me about the importance of her latest honor in a storied career.
I think it's great recognition really for this part of the country, honestly. A lot of women's basketball attention is in the northeast, southeast part of the country. There's not a lot in the Rocky Mountain region, so it's nice. Well, obviously it's nice for me personally, but I think for the University of Colorado and Boulder and just this region to have a coach that's out in the Rocky Mountain region be in the Hall of Fame is a plus.
Coach Berry will be inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame on June 9th, 2018 in Knoxville, Tennessee. And Vinay, you already know this, but I talked to Coach Berry about the current women's basketball team, and she told me the Buffs turned a corner in the game at Utah, where they were down by 16 points and came back to win the game. Vinay? Hey, we're all looking forward to some exciting basketball from the women. Last week they took on Washington, and guess who had the recap? It's me! 20-point victory for the Colorado Buffaloes against the Washington Huskies here on Breast Cancer Awareness Night, led off by a 29-point first quarter where the Buffs shot 67% from the field. The Buffs were able to sustain that through all 4 quarters, winning every quarter and eventually winning the game 76-56. Coach J.R. Payne told us about the difference between this game and the last few games where they haven't been able to close the games out.
It felt to me like our game plan was executed maybe not for 40 minutes, but at a much more consistent pace offensively and defensively throughout the game. There were very few lulls where, you know, we were giving up uncontested threes or we were slow in transition. You know, we didn't stray from what our game plan was.
Alexis Robinson led Colorado with 18 points on 7 of 15 shooting, and Kendi Leonard had 14 points and 13 assists, which is a new career high for her. And Maya Hollingshed also had a nice game with 14 points. She was 4 of 5 from 3 and only missed 1 shot in the entire game. Aubrey Knight led Colorado with 7 rebounds in just 13 minutes. She had to leave the game with a shoulder injury, and Coach Payne gave us an update on that.
She came back and she was smiling and laughing, and you know, I mean, that's kind of her nature, is to be very upbeat and positive, and so I'm not sure I don't even know what it is yet.
Colorado's next game is against Washington State here at the Coors Event Center on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Jack Stern has the story for you on that.
Well, emotions were running high here at the Coors Event Center for Senior Day, with both Zoe Coriel and Brecca Thomas set to graduate. Now, Coriel had a great night, recording 14 rebounds, 1 board short of her career high. Here's what head coach J.R. Payne had to say about the impact of those very seniors after the game.
Well, it's a wonderful day, you know, for our senior day. It's great to get a victory, but like I said on the court, you know, these guys, our younger players talked about, and our coaches talked about going out today and playing our entire hearts out, leaving them on the floor for their 2 seniors today. And clearly we did that. I mean, we played hard, we out-rebounded our opponent, we took care of the ball. It was, you know, far from a perfect game, but our effort was pretty darn good, and I'm very proud of our team today.
Now, this was a game that felt like the Buffs to win all the way. They only trailed for 30 seconds. They out-rebounded the Cougars by 9 boards. Kennedy Leonard and Alexis Robinson had a game-high 15 points apiece. Annika Jank added 12. Now, at the end of the game, the Cougars were staging a last-minute comeback, which failed on a failed 3-point attempt at the end. But Guard Kennedy Leonard iced the game at the free throw line. Here's what she had to say.
I think they're just sending a lot of people at me and closing the gaps, forcing me to shoot it. But at the end of the day, it really didn't matter because my teammates were hitting shots, and even if we did shoot it, Coriel was getting literally every single rebound. So, yeah, Washington State had a good game plan, but I guess our game plan was a little better.
And the Buffs have a chance to make it 3 in a row in LA on Thursday, where they'll face up against the UCLA Bruins. Here at the Coors Event Center, I'm Jack Stern, Buff Sports Live.
Thanks, Jack. As he just said, team was in LA last night to take on the Bruins.
It was the first game since I recorded that interview with Coach Barry, and she said the Buffs would turn it around. Let's see if they could, Jake.
Yeah. Alexis Robinson last night was absolutely awesome. She would end up finishing with 31 points, and lift off from the left side right there. She was hot. Takes a baseline, circus layup. Awesome, Alexis Robinson. Cross up top from Lexi. Finishes with the left hand in the lane. That was so pretty. Like I said, 31 on 25 shots.
And then Jordan Canada. Yeah, she plays in the United States. She had a big game as well. First, she got a nice screen, free throw line jumper. That's a hellacious pick. Then Canada from Manitoba. In transition, oh, Canada. Then one more three for Canada. That's a dagger. Canada had 20 points and 11 assists in UCLA's win.
Buffs outscored UCLA in the fourth and fought back to make it close, but ended up losing 73-67. One of the best games of Alexis Robinson's career, no doubt.
Kennedy Leonard in the record books again. This time, she matched her own personal record at the UCLA game last night. Leonard had 7 points and 11 assists, bringing her to 190 assists on the season. That ties Leonard's own assist record that she set last season. Colorado's next game is at USC Saturday at 2 p.m. And if Leonard gets one more assist, she'll have a new single-season record because, well, that's how records work.
You know, Vinay, I think everyone here knows how much I love Kennedy Leonard, and I cannot wait to see her play in her senior season. She's just such a terrific basketball player.
Yeah, maybe the women's team will head back to the dance.
Speaking of the dance, the men's team won't be going this year, and we have all the reasons why.
That and spring football, it's here!
That's right. Do I look like a commingled contender to you? All I want is a newspaper.
Why don't you bring that bottle over here? I won't be spitting it back at you.
All right, boy, why don't you bring that bottle over here to commingle so these boys stop bickering and ruin my night.
The Colorado Buffaloes football team opened spring practice this morning, meaning it's officially the 2018 football season. Kinda, sorta.
So I thought we had a good day, first day, flying around out there. Thought it went well. So I'll take any questions.
How much fun was it for you to get back on the field with these guys after
It was fun.
Going through so many workouts? And
Yeah,
training
it was.
and all
It was a lot of fun watching them play. I think they were glad to be running plays and running around and that type of thing. And I thought that it was fun for coaches and all of us. Yep.
You yesterday during his spring press conference. Today we found out about some injuries with the Buffs. The highly regarded freshman offensive lineman Jake Moretti should be coming back this spring. That's great news. Moretti was a five-star commit that decommitted from Ohio State to come to CU. The Buffs will open spring practices a couple times throughout the course of the spring season. In addition to the showcase on March 17th, the other practices will be open on March 9th as well as March 21st from 8:15 in the morning to 11 a.m.
The CU men's basketball team hosted Southern California at the Coors Event Center last Wednesday. And who else? We had our own Jake Shapiro courtside after the game.
The Colorado Buffaloes came into tonight's game against the USC Trojan with drama surrounding that USC scandal involving the FBI. The only thing walking away in handcuffs tonight was Colorado's defense as they struggled against this Trojans offense. 75 points were scored on this very court, Sox-Wallsteth court, as USC shot a staggering 54.7% in this game. That is not acceptable according to Tad Boyle.
So yeah, our defensive, our defense was not good enough tonight. It was just not and when we did get stops, we got some stops, we couldn't get rebounds. You know, that one we get a stop and Tyler goes out of his hands. Naaman misses a box out. It's like, you know, we can't break people because we can't finish possession.
Even worse than Colorado's defense is their lack of effort after not playing defense. When they did play defense, those rebounds went right back to USC. They got second chance points left and right. Chimenzi Metu with one of his finest games. The big man dominated the Buffaloes, had 21 points for the Trojans, and the Buffaloes are reeling now, 15-13 on the year, at danger of being under 500 for the second time in the Tad Boyle era. Who would have thought that coming into this year, even with this young team? And maybe the most disappointing part of tonight's game was George King, who did not hit a single field goal in his second to last home game. Jake Shapiro, back to me, Jake Shapiro in the studio. Wearing the same shirt too, like that shirt choice. He's Vinay Simlot. I'm still Jake Shapiro. I bet you haven't had enough of us yet. Well, before we get into that last game against USC, the Colorado Buffaloes went on the road this past weekend, struggled against Washington State, and then against Washington.
Yeah, it was a bad road trip for Colorado. You go play Washington State, who's got one win in the Pac-12, you give up another one. Then Washington, they gave up 47% shooting to Washington, 18 turnovers, and they let Thibault get 26 points on him, which is a career high. It was a trip to forget for Colorado.
And then we saw more of the same for the Colorado Buffaloes as they faced off against the USC Trojans. As they struggled to play defense against USC, Vinay, they let USC shoot 55% from the field. And Chimenzi Metu went off for a huge, huge number.
Yeah, Tad Boyle talked about it in the post-game press conference with us. He said they try to play man after a made basket in zone when they don't make a basket. So they were playing zone, but they didn't have enough energy in the zone. It looked like USC was playing at home and Colorado was playing on the road, and it looked like Colorado wasn't used to the altitude.
And they were struggling not only with communication issues and boxing out, just simple things, simple mistakes costing this team. And maybe the biggest downside, forget the simple mistakes, this was a glaring mistake, or a glaring error rather. George King, no field goals in that ball game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, George King, Tad Boyle said he was rushing his shots. To me, it looked like he was missing shots that he usually makes. He had a lot of open threes, a lot of open jump shots, and he couldn't make any of them. I don't know what was up with George King, honestly. I can't tell you. The only shots he made were free throws. He was 4 for 4 from the line. If you take that as a silver lining, I don't know if you do.
I don't know what you can take as a silver lining, but what can we get in terms of a silver lining on the season, Vinay? They have one more home game on Sunday. That one's against UCLA. What can the Buffs do to not only send the seniors off right, but put a nice bow on the season and get strong going into Utah and then the Pac-12 tournament?
Well, win the Pac-12 tournament, make the NCAA tournament. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. Maybe the NIT tournament, but you said it yesterday. They might miss the postseason for the first time in Tad Boyle's career. This team has overachieved, we know that, and I'm proud of how these young guys have responded. It's never the young guys who are playing badly when the team loses. You can look at the guys, George King, Dom Collier, and Naaman Wright, the three guys that they've relied on that haven't played well.
Well, Vinay,
sorry, yeah.
You're good. There's going to be more of us in a second, so Vinay, Jake, back to Vinay, and Jake, it's still us. Thanks, Jake. The men's basketball team, or program rather, keeps regressing as we just talked about. Head coach Tad Boyle really has not been able to stop it. But I may have an answer for you, so hear me out. For the first time in Tad Boyle's 8-year tenure at Colorado, it appears the Buffaloes will not make the postseason in any form. The highly successful coach, and arguably the best in school history, is in a rut. The team won't make the NCAA tournament, barring a miraculous run, for the second straight year, and 3 out of the past 4. Looking back now, was 5 years ago Boyle's peak? In the midst of a 3 straight year tournament run, a tournament win, a Pac-12 championship, and on the verge of a top 10 ranking nationwide, everyone was ecstatic for Tad. The Buffs have yet to top that. There have been big wins, great players, and good accomplishments, don't get me wrong, but the notoriety has decreased, and so too has the excitement. Some Buffs fans think it's time for a change at coach. That's tough. Boyle has 5 of the 9 20-plus win seasons in school history, meaning his worst seasons would be celebrated as above average in CU history. Boyle is here to stay, and there isn't any doubt about it. The young players on his team already show a change in approach to recruiting. His former players have never doubted him. Quote, "It's amazing to me how many players take Tad Boyle for granted," Bo Gamble told me this summer. Quote, "What an unbelievable job he has done building up the program. We are in the golden era of CU hoops, and we have not peaked yet," end quote. So what's the problem? Boyle hinted at it himself. College basketball is an unfair sport. Boyle's playing right. His opponents aren't. But enough blame. Boyle isn't making excuses, so neither will we. There are 3 things that need to happen for CU to pull out of this bit of a lull and head back towards the dance. Number 1, the Buffs need to develop their players. Some seniors on this current squad have not made those steps, and same with the past. With 10 underclassmen, this is essential for the growth of this program. Number 2, a more comprehensive offensive game plan. Tad ball is awesome. Defense and rebounding, we get it. It works. But I believe the Buffs should focus more on offense. They're second to last in scoring in the Pac-12. Number 3, the marketing around this program needs to change. The Keg used to be the biggest party in college basketball, for real. Long gone are the glory days of the C unit. Assistant coach Kim English was a huge hire for youth relatability. Boyle getting into social media helped too, but it starts with athletics. They cannot treat hoops like second fiddle to football. There needs to be a campaign to get the blood back into basketball in Boulder. Do all this, and then the McKinley Wright-Spencer Dinwiddie comparisons will be warranted. Moreover, do all this, and Boyle will finally tackle that sweet, sweet, sweet Sweet 16.
One of those prize freshmen Jake was telling us about is McKinley Wright, the Minnesota product, who set a team record for the most assists by a freshman in Colorado history. He passed another point guard who was also pretty good, Chauncey Billups, who set the record in 1995 with 143 assists. And Chauncey had a pretty successful NBA career after being drafted 3rd overall. Wright got his 144th assist after firing a pass to Dallas Walton underneath the basket in the last game against USC. Chauncey Billups, that's some pretty good company.
No doubt. Speaking of assists, we're about to get one as well.
Yeah, it's not just us two on this show.
Coming up, we have a rapid fire that I promise you is not quite like anyone you've seen before.
We are the University of Colorado sailing team, and still the only college sailing team in Colorado. Last year, we traveled to 5 regattas and hosted our own using a fleet we bought with community support.
This year, we're raising money to purchase a safety boat that will take care of our sailors and lead effective practices to get them in tip-top shape to kick stern at regattas.
Weather changes happen quickly in Colorado, so we need to be prepared in case anyone ends up in the water. A safety boat with a proper engine will help make sure we can get people and boats to safety in the event of a capsize.
Safety is our team's top priority, and this boat will help us prepare for worst-case scenarios. This boat will put us on track for being the safest, the fastest, and the most effective team in our conference.
Donate today to help us reach our $4,000 goal and get CU Sailing motorboating. Share to everyone you know to spread the word. With your help, we will be on our way to be a safer and more successful program.
And we'll be right back on Buff Sports Live.
3, 2, 1, we're clear.
Hey Rach, have you heard about the Buff Sports Live desk troll?
There's no such thing, Jake.
Oh my God. In 1992, he bit an anchor's foot clean off during the show.
No way.
She mispronounced a name! We're back on Buff Sports Live. Unbelievable women's basketball game last night.
Wendy D. Kennard was amazeballs.
Well, the show must go on. She had a triple-double in 60 minutes of play as the Buffs went on to win.
Hey everyone, I know it's been the Jake and Vinay show to this point, but you're about to see a whole lot of me, Brendan Mackey. Right up, the hottest segment, Rapid Fire. Hello and welcome to Rapid Fire. I'm Brendan Mackey and this is what's coming up this week in CU Sports. First up, the Colorado football team started spring football this morning. The Buffs lost 12 starters from last year's team, 7 on offense and 5 on defense. The Buffaloes hope to improve from last year's season, finishing 5-7 and missing out on a bowl game. There will be plenty of competition during the spring ball. You can go out and watch the team play at the spring showcase on March 17th. The ski team heads to Steamboat Springs to compete in the RMISA Championship meet that doubles as the NCAA Western Regionals this weekend. The Buffs will be looking for back-to-back championships. The track team is gearing up for the Mount Pacific Sports Federation Indoor Track and Field Championships on Saturday and Sunday. The championships will be hosted by the University of Washington. Teams will compete for a conference title. Sunday at noon, the women's lacrosse team will be taking on San Diego State in their home opener. The Buffs are coming off a 3-game road trip where they finished 1-2. The Aztecs are 2-0, and the Buffs are hoping to keep their 11 home game win streak alive. Also on Sunday, the 15-13 men's basketball team will be playing their last home game of the season versus UCLA. The game will start at 2 o'clock as they try to send their seniors off on the right note. All right, I'm tired of running around. That's all the time we have for Rapid Fire today. Go sport your Buffs this weekend. Back to you at the desk.
The CU track and field team took their talents to the Air Force Collegiate Open. Colorado had 3 first-place finishes, starting with Alexander Billing. He turned on the afterburners in the 60-meter hurdles and tied for the 7th fastest time in the MPSF. On the women's side, Elisa Grandemange earned a season best in the women's weight throw. And to cap it all off, Mariah Walker came out on top in the women's shot put.
Pretty much the only other person on the show today besides Vinay and I was Brendan Mackey, and BMAC caught up with our women's lacrosse draw control specialist, Darby Kiernan. There is a reason she is leading the Pac-12 in draw controls right now.
Good. Hello everyone, I'm Brendan Mackey here with BuffSportsLive, and today on 60 Seconds with a Buff, I'm here with Darby Kiernan. Darby, you are leading the Pac-12 in draw controls right now, and I've been calling your games for the past year, and I still don't know how to do this. So can you show me how to do this really quick? All right, this is also never been done on BuffSportsLive, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, so
I'm gonna put this down.
So hold your stick like this, with one hand on top and on the bottom, and like face this way, go back, yeah. And you just put it in, and you can only go up. So when I say like ready, set, go, just go up. Okay, ready, set, go. Is that good?
That is why she is leading the Pac-12 in draw controls. That was impressive. All right, Darby. So you guys are going to be playing a 2-0 San Diego State team on Sunday, and you guys are coming off 2 tough losses to 2. I mean, they were top 15 teams. Yeah. What can you take away from those games to prepare you for San Diego State on Sunday?
We just keep learning, and we're just preparing all week for the game on Sunday. So I think just working hard at practice and focusing on the little things, we'll have a good game on Sunday, and we just really got to focus in and get a win.
You guys are 11-0 at home. That is a crazy win streak, knock on wood. What's so special about Boulder that you guys keep winning at home?
The atmosphere is just so cool. A bunch of our parents always come out too, which is awesome. All of our friends come out, which is awesome too. I just think we have a really big fan base, which is cool because it's Colorado. Lacrosse is getting it's on the rise here, which is awesome. So yeah.
You are a senior, so this is your first game. What is this game going to mean to you?
It means a lot. It's going to mean a lot. I mean, it might be even a little bit emotional, but I'm really excited.
All right. That's all the time we have with Darby Kiernan. Thank you so much for joining us. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brendan. Darby's team is ranked in multiple national polls. The Buffs are ranked 20th in both the Women's Lacrosse Coaches Association poll and a Nike U.S. Lacrosse Magazine poll. Reigning NCAA champion Maryland sits at the top of both polls. CU has a 1-2 record with their only win against Michigan back on February 9th.
Speaking of women's lax, the Buffs are coming home to face former division rival San Diego State. Colorado's leading scorers, Miranda Stenson and Darby Kiernan, are looking to get back to 500. The game comes up Sunday at Kittredge Field with a 2 o'clock start. Vinay, have you been watching the Olympics at all?
No, not really. You know, I miss Bob Costas and his eye infection this year.
You have worse issues than an eye infection, buddy. We still have some updates for you on the Olympic team, some buffs in that Olympics, and the ski team as well.
In college athletics, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, and you're watching Buff Sports Live.
This isn't where you want to be. Don't use a fake ID.
Former University of Colorado Nordic skier Joanne Reed competed in the women's biathlon 4x6K relay. She helped Team USA to a 13th place finish in the biathlon. It was Reed's fourth race in the Olympics, and in her days as a buff, Reed won 11 races from 2010 to 2013. Reed is tied for the 7th most wins by any Buffalo. Her 9 victories in the magical 2013 senior campaign are the 3rd most ever in a single season.
The Colorado ski team, winners of the 2018 RMISA regular season, now look for back-to-back NCAA West Regional Championships in Steamboat this weekend. The meet began today and continues throughout Sunday. At last season's RMISA championship, the Buffs took home their 28th all-time title. This year they look for 29.
The tennis team lost to Kansas State on Sunday. The morning match saw freshman Linda Huang lose her first game as a Buffalo. Head coach Kennelly said after the game, "We know we'll be playing a lot of matches of this quality. We can learn from today and utilize it in preparation for next week."
The men's golf team left the Wyoming Desert Invite in 3rd. I didn't know they had a desert in Wyoming, but albeit. Falling short of a 5-year second-place streak. 2 top-scoring Buffaloes, Yannick Paul, tied for 5th place in an unexpected way. The meet concluded with 4 golfers tied for 1st place. 2 from number 15 Cal, 1 from number 9 Texas Tech. The men's golf team returns to action in California in March.
Forever Buff and current Brooklyn Net Spencer Dinwiddie took home another achievement this week, and this week's Tweet of the Week comes from the NBA. It reads, "Your champ, Spencer Dinwiddie, raises the Taco Bell Skills Challenge trophy." Dinwiddie beat 8 competitors during the NBA All-Star Weekend, saying afterwards, "It makes me feel good to come back home and get a win."
I'm jealous you got to read about my guy, Spencer Dinwiddie. I love that guy. But that just about ends this week's show. But I am really excited for tonight. Vinay, it's your 21st birthday. We're going to drink and have so much fun tonight. I just cannot wait to celebrate.
Jake?
I know it's going to be awesome. Our viewers get it. You're allowed to drink. You're 21 now.
No, Jake. It's my 20th birthday.
Oh. Well, I'm going to drink anyways. It's Friday. Couldn't imagine not being legal, honestly. Have an awesome night. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and thanks, Jake.
The only thing hotter than rapid fire on this show are the hot takes on this segment. He's Vinay Simlot. I'm Jake Shapiro, and we're talking about the blasphemous Colorado Buffaloes basketball program after losing at home to the USC Trojans.
Look, Chimezie Metu is better than the entire Colorado Buffaloes team right now. The man can play basketball. They threw Tyler Bay, Dallas Walton, Lucas Seward. They threw the whole squad at him. Ted Burrow was out there guarding him. Nothing.
You have a Brazilian. A Brazilian. How are you going to stop Chimezie Metu with the Brazilian? Yeah, he was the Buffalo's best player on Wednesday night. But where's McKinley Wright? Where's George King? There was no rain for George King. It was all anarchy for the Colorado Buffaloes.
George King shot well yesterday. 4 for 4 from the free throw line.
He didn't shoot. He didn't shoot from the field. He was terrible. How can he still have a scholarship?